Welcome, artists. Start by writing your name and class and flipping your paper over. We need to draw our skull, and I see that the forehead is the biggest part. We want to draw our skulls nice and big in the middle of the page, so I'm going to start by drawing that top rounded part really big. Then I see there's the eye sockets, which are kind of like little bumps on the sides. From there, I see the chin is sort of angled, almost like a rectangle, but curvier. Now I can look at the shapes of the eyes and draw those, and they're kind of big, circle-y rectangles. The nose, to me, looks like an upside-down heart. Now, in the inside of the mouth, there's lots of teeth, and there's many ways you could draw this. So I flip my paper over to the back just to show you a few examples. Like maybe I would draw a rectangle and do a line and other lines to show the teeth. Or maybe I would want to do it as just little bumpy lines to show the teeth with a line around that. There's many ways that you can draw a skull's mouth. It's up to you. You can decide. You can look at the skull and see what you think would work best for it and what lines and shapes you would do. I'm going to start with kind of a smiling line, and then I'm going to use my pencil to do bumpy lines that get smaller on the edges and bigger in the center, both above and below that line, to show the mouth. Now that my skull is drawn, I need to think about what kinds of designs I'd like to add to my sugar skull inspired drawing. Remember, sugar skulls are actually made out of sugar. Ours are drawings inspired by those. So I can use one of those sheets that I have, or I can look up at the board to help me come up with designs. One thing you might want to do is trace around shapes you already have or draw designs in them. Look around the room, see what inspiration you can get with shapes and lines, maybe what somebody else at your table is doing, what's on the paper in front of you, what's on the board, and have fun, friends. Be creative. One thing to remember is not to do designs that are too teeny tiny, because you're going to be tracing all of your lines with a thicker black oil pastel. And if your designs are too skinny and tiny, you won't be able to trace them. Now that I'm done drawing my sugar skull, I need to start tracing with a black oil pastel. An oil pastel is sort of like a crayon, but it's smudgier. So as I draw, I want to be really, really careful with this black line. You'll notice now what I meant about not doing designs that are too teeny tiny. It's really hard to trace those teeny tiny designs with such a thick black oil pastel. As you draw, be really careful of where your hand is. If you can see, my palm is smudging some of those black lines, which is a problem. I don't want to smudge those lines. So be really careful as you draw that you don't rest your hand on the paper as you draw. You want your lines to look clean and neat, not all smudgy. Okay, now you're going to finish tracing all of the pencil lines with that black oil pastel. Try and get all of your lines traced, but if there's teeny tiny ones that you can't trace, that's okay. Any leftover pencil lines you can gently erase. Try not to smudge the oil pastel. Great job, friends.